the table. Today, the president's son showed up in a Delaware courtroom expecting to plead guilty to 2 counts of tax misdemeanors and a gun charge that would magically disappear. Until Delaware Judge Mary Ellen Norica asked one simple question: what's actually in the deal? Apparently, that was a very difficult question that Hunter Biden and Biden's Department of Justice didn't want to talk about and didn't really have a straight answer to. Hunter's lawyers said Hunter has lifelong immunity from everything. He'll never get charged for anything ever again having to do with anything or anybody anywhere. And the judge said, really? And Biden's prosecutors, obviously embarrassed, said, well, this is still an active investigation and he could still be maybe charged for a few things. And Hunter's lawyer said, then there's no deal. And all hell broke loose in the courtroom. So, how could both sides come to a plea deal hearing that blows up in the first 5 minutes? Here's what happened. This sweetest of sweetheart deals was agreed to a month ago. And I don't think they put any of it in writing. It was more of a handshake deal. But a lot's happened since then. When news of the deal broke, even the mainstream media said Hunter was getting home cooking. And then immediately after, 2 highly credible IRS whistleblowers came forward and detailed a 5-year Justice Department conspiracy to obstruct the case against the Bidens. Tip-offs, roadblocks, special treatment. Prosecutors weren't even allowed to crack open the laptop. On top of that, an FBI informant claims a Ukrainian CEO bribed Joe Biden. And that Joe Biden strong-armed him for the cash. $5 million to Joe, $5 million to Hunter. And not only that, there could be tapes of Joe Biden demanding bribes. And then in a last-second twist, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy signaled that an impeachment inquiry is looming. So, this Delaware prosecutor is thinking to himself, if I go forward with this sweetheart plea deal, I'm part of the cover-up. And if they have impeachment hearings in the House, then they're calling me in to testify under oath about how my office obstructed justice. So, this plea deal, already half-baked, made with a wink and a nod, couldn't survive the scrutiny in an open courtroom on the heels of these explosive developments. And believe us, Hunter's team did everything they could to resuscitate the plea today. They went back into chambers scrambling. But the judge wasn't putting up with any of Hunter Biden's lawyers' Hail Marys at this point, especially after last night's shenanigans, when Hunter's legal team was caught impersonating a Republican lawyer, calling the courthouse, trying to pull the IRS whistleblower testimony from the docket. Dirty trick. So Hunter's legal team was already on thin ice. The deal was already teetering. All it took was a public hearing and a little shame to have this thing torpedoed. This judge isn't buying the White House defense that Hunter was a victim of addiction who wasn't responsible for his actions. The judge asked if Hunter was sober when he was dodging taxes from 2018 to 2019, the years he was there to plead guilty to? And he said, yeah, he was sober. So Hunter either lied to the judge or he was actually sober and fully cognizant when he was signing fraudulent tax returns. There goes the drug excuse. This judge also asked if prosecutors were looking into Hunter Biden being a foreign agent, illegally lobbying on behalf of foreign nationals. Now, Biden's Justice Department said, yeah, we're looking into FARA violations. Well, that was news to us because that's probably the easiest thing to charge Hunter Biden with. This means either 2 things. Prosecutors were blocked from pursuing foreign lobbying violations, or the Biden family protection racket's cracking. And all of a sudden, foreign lobbying charges are now on the table. The judge is giving both sides until September 1st to give them a new deal. And at this point, it's a race to placate the judge, but at the same time, save face and save Hunter from further prosecution. It's only going to get more corrupt as this clock ticks down to December 1st. And that makes August the most critical month in the Biden presidency. There is no way Hunter Biden, a spoiled brat, is copping to any plea that puts him in prison. And neither is President Biden. But immense pressure will build in August against the Biden family. In days, Congressman Comer is set to release more damning bank records that show even more money pouring into Biden family bank accounts and being disguised through shady shell companies. Devin Archer the longtime Biden family business partner, is set to spill his guts to James Comer on Monday. His testimony could be devastating. Will Devon Archer even make it to Monday? Currently, he's in hiding and has been getting threats to his life. Here's why. He knows everything, and details of his testimony have leaked. Word is that Devon Archer will say Hunter would put Joe on the phone with his business partners, and Joe Biden would know everybody's names. He'd know their wives' names and their kids' names. It was a routine. They played it out dozens of times with clients. It was orchestrated and pre-planned with the vice president. And it was their closing pitch. And after the clients heard Joe on the phone, familiar with everything, that's when they wired Hunter the money. And there was one pot of money for the entire Biden clan. Hunter Biden paid Joe Biden's personal cell phone for years, $25,000. He paid for home repairs. He paid for monthly expenses. Don't take it from me, take it for Hunter Biden himself. He texted his daughter, quote, "I hope you all can do what I did and pay for everything for an entire family for 30 years. It's really hard. But don't worry, unlike Pop, I won't make you give me half your salary." This is all starting to reach very uncomfortable levels in the media. They know political damage to Joe Biden when they see it.
This is a huge gift for former President Donald Trump and Republicans because it gives them something to attack, to deflect.
It also gives more credibility to some of the unsubstantiated claims that Republicans have been making to Hunter Biden's international business dealings.
It allows them to portray a picture entering into the campaign season to start chipping away at Joe Biden's character. That's the entire sort of premise here. That's the goal of what they want to do. They want to muddy up Joe Biden.
And the hairs on the back of Binder's neck starting to stick up. Last week, this was a Trump-appointed prosecutor dealing with a Trump-appointed judge, and Joe Biden just loves his son. But today, there was a new talking point.
This case was handled independently. This was an independent investigation that was overseen by the Department of Justice. They are independent. Again, this was done independently. I'm just going to not speak to that. It is an independent matter, and I'm just going to refer you, as this has been an independent investigation.
Democrats know the bigger the cover-up, the uglier the possible impeachment's going to get. Everybody heard what the judge said today in Delaware. She'd never seen such a sweetheart deal. She'd never heard of a gun charge just going away like that. She'd never been asked to sign off on a deal that had handcuffed her. The judge smelled a rat. The White House was humiliated that its Justice Department was exposed for bringing such a preposterous deal in front of the judge in public with reporters there. And the White House can no longer claim that Hunter Biden's a private citizen, so we're not going to talk about him. What kind of private citizen gets an armed 8-car motorcade to court? Today was the day the Hunter Biden scandal became the Joe Biden scandal. Democrats are now forced to reckon with this, and so far, they're in a state of denial.
Why do you think Democrats seem to not care when there's a Democrat in the White House about possible corruption in the Oval Office?
The corruption that we're seeing is a corruption of the Republican Party.
Why don't Democrats care about some of this stuff that has come out?
It's BS.
There's no real evidence. Why would we want to impeach him when there's no wrongdoing?
Today's plea bargain implosion was more evidence of a cover-up, and everybody who's participated in the cover-up is on notice. Today was a day finally where justice was served. We can feel the wheels of justice turning. The ground has shifted. Momentum is on our side.